Yo guys, what's up? It's your boy Nico Pro here, and you should never use redstone. You may say, Nico, why shouldn't we use redstone? Look at that, it's so tempting. It was literally introduced into the game to be used. Okay, let me rephrase, okay? You should never use redstone in creative, okay? If you are in survival mode and you have no access to command blocks, then you are free to use all of the redstone you want. A lot of people have been making so many good contraptions using only redstone, and it's really impressive. But when you're creating a map, you actually don't need to use redstone, because command blocks actually make all of the job for you. You actually don't need any comparators, any repeaters, and any redstone in your Minecraft maps. And today I'm going to show you a few tips that are gonna actually keep you from avoiding the redstone. As you can see on the left side right here, we have all of this stupid redstone that is unneeded for all of these contraptions, while on the right side we have the same exact contraptions but without redstone. By the end of this video you will be able to create a map without using anything that is on the redstone tab. Now let's start with redstone wire. Why do people use redstone wire? So basically this guy right here. Well, they usually use it just to link a few commands together, okay? So like this, they just link a few commands together. So this is pretty cool, okay? You can just press the button and as you can see it's gonna say 1, 2, 2, 2. It's gonna link the commands together. Now, naturally, as you all maybe know, hopefully you know, you don't need to do this because in 1.9, Minecraft released chain command blocks. We don't need redstone to link commands together, but we can actually use chain command blocks, and this will actually link the command on its own. In fact, if we do this, as you can see, it's the same exact thing, but we don't need to use redstone. Okay, but you may say, Nico, what if I prefer this one? What is wrong with using redstone? Well, my friend, there are a lot of things wrong with using redstone. First and foremost, you can only go ahead to 16, I believe, blocks, because after that you will need a repeater. And that is not something we want in our maps, because what if we want to make something happen instantly? We actually can't. As you can see, the redstone wire will not go all the way over to here. These commands will never execute. Instead, if you use this setup right here, it can go up to 65,000 blocks, okay? 65,000 blocks. 16 blocks, 65,000. 16 blocks, 65,000. So yeah, you choose which is best. But there is also another reason why you shouldn't use redstone wire, and it's because, as you can see right here, we have an impulse command block, and these chain command blocks are always active, okay? In fact, when there is an impulse right here, the chain will work, and each command will execute one after the other. Now, what if we don't want this one to execute? The number 3, we don't want it to execute, okay? We press the button, as you can see, it's executing, but we temporarily don't want it to execute. We just have to go here and click on always active, and now it's going to be needs redstone. And if we do done and actually click on the button, as you can see, it will not execute anymore. Now, what if we want to do this with redstone? Okay, let's try to think on how to do this with redstone. Okay, if I want to do this with redstone, I don't want this guy to execute. I either remove the command block, but that is no good for me, because then, you know, what if I want to add it again? It was just a temporary fix. Okay, another option that I have would be to clone the command block away, and then when I want it back, just clone it back. But then the redstone wire wouldn't be on top of the command. Okay, another option I have is just to do this. But wait, no, this redstone wire is still powering this. Wait, no, I have to make this larger. Okay, wait, you see what I'm going with this, okay? This is crazy, okay? This setup is crazy. Like, without using redstone, you just have to do one single click of a button to deactivate a command block. Here, you have to do all of this setup. And honestly, yes, you can come up with a solution that will make it work with redstone, but will always be more complicated than using command blocks. So, never use redstone wire. Okay, so now that we got that figured out, let's try to understand why you should never use repeaters. You guys may be thinking right now, Nico, what are you saying? Repeaters are essentials. How are we gonna make a loop, or how are we gonna make like a delay in Minecraft without using repeaters? Well, first of all, let's try and see what this does. As you can see, we have two command blocks. One says 1, the other says 2. And as you can see, when we press the button, it's gonna say first 1, and then it's gonna say 2. Now, you may see everything is alright with this, but what if we want this command block to actually say 3? I mean, create another command block and say 3. So, let's do this. Boom. Okay, now, it's everything fine, right? 1, 2, and sorry. And it's gonna say 3. Easy peasy. Okay, now what if we want one command block to say 1, the other to say 2, and the third one to say 3, but to execute after exactly 1 minute? Okay, this is so easy, we just have to do something like this. Okay, let me count, okay? Every repeater has like 4 ticks, and I believe 4 ticks is doubled because it's redstone ticks, so it's 8 ticks. There are 20 ticks in a second, and there are, how many ticks there are in a minute? There are 1200 ticks in a minute, but we have to divide that by 2, because it's redstone ticks, so it's 600 ticks, and each repeater has 4 ticks, so we have to do 600 divided by 4, which is 15, we have to use 15 repeaters, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yeah, I'm stupid, it's not 15, it's 150, yes, of course. Okay, so it's not 15, I have to do 10 times this. Okay, so let's actually do something smart. Let's do clone from here on here, and let's clone it 10 times. Here, there you go. Now let's do it again. Just walk here. This is the third time I'm cloning it. 4, 4, and finally 10. Alright, this is so cool! We just have to place the command block right here and we're done. Okay, you see where I'm going with this, okay? This is absolutely ridiculous. Okay, let's see how to implement the exact same thing in Minecraft using only command blocks. You just can go away, you can all die in a hole. Okay, there you go. Command blocks. Now, this may seem a little bit more complicated, but it's actually not complicated. It's actually pretty simple. Okay, so basically you create timers in Minecraft with command blocks using scoreboards. Scoreboards are basically what they say they are, scoreboards. A scoreboard is something that keeps track of a user's score using a number, okay? Okay, so here is what you need to do. You need to create a new scoreboard, and you can call it whatever you want. We're gonna call it say, just because it's gonna say a bunch of stuff. Then we're gonna summon a new entity. These command blocks must be done only once, okay? So we're gonna summon an entity. For this example, we're gonna summon an armor stand, and we need to tag this entity counter, okay? But you can call it whatever you want. You can call it right here whatever you want. It doesn't matter. Just needs to have a tag. So let's actually do this. So now, right now we have an armor stand, which tag is called counter. In fact, if we do tag elist, as you can see there are 3 entities in the world. One is me, the other is the armor stand, the other is Herobrine. Anyway, now that we have this little setup, we can actually set a score to this armor stand, and this armor stand is gonna actually keep track of the score. So this is what these command blocks right here do. Basically, this is a repeating command block that every tick will add a score to the counter of 1, okay? Let's actually set the scoreboard onto the sidebar so you guys can check it out, okay? When we actually activate this, probably will be better to do it with a lever. There you go. When we actually activate this, as you can see, the counter is gonna start going up. Okay, so what's next? Next, we have 2 command blocks, which are the same as the command blocks that used to be right here, okay? The first one will detect. These are seems complicated, but it's pretty simple. Basically, it will detect if there is an entity with the tag counter that has a score of, say, that is equal to 1, okay? And if there is, it's gonna run this command block right here, which says 1. And right here, we have another command block which will basically detect if there is a counter which has a score that is equal to 20. And if there is, it's gonna say 2. Now you may say, Nico, this is so complicated, this is even harder than Redstone. Well, this is not true. You wanna know why? Because look at this, if we wanna make a 4 tick delay right here, and do say hi and say I too, as you can see, it will work just fine. But here, with command blocks, which you can just rearrange this combination, and go from say 1 to say, let's do 9, so there is an 8 tick differential, which is the same one as this one. And now if we do this and we reset, as you can see, it's gonna be exactly the same. But now, what if we want to make the delay of 1 minute? Well, if so, right here we have to make like 150 repeaters. But what do we have to do right here? Nothing. We just have to change this command block to how many ticks there are in a minute, which is 20 by 60. And that is 1,200, yeah, just 1,200, that's it. So now, if we actually do this, and we reset, okay, it's gonna take 1 minute to actually execute the second command block. Instead, here, we have to do all of this long chain. Now, there is also another problem with Redstone, okay? What if we're making a survival part? Meaning that you have to survive for 1 minute, and then, if you survive, the door is going to unlock. The problem with that is, once the redstone started going, it's really hard to stop the pulse. So right here, if we do something like this, and put a lot of repeaters right here, okay? And we actually start the pulse like this, okay? And we click a button. Now, what if we click a button, but now we want this pulse to stop? The only way to stop it is to remove a repeater, okay? And this is a little bit hard to do using command blocks, because you have to remove the exact repeater, or you have to remove all of them at the same time, and then redstone may glitch out at the same time and it may not work. Instead, if you use commands, the only thing you need to do to make this stop is to flick this lever, or to actually set this to needs redstone. So this could be always active, and you could set this to needs redstone, and the timer just stopped, and then you can click on this to actually reset the timer. Oh, by the way, this actually just resets the scoreboard. I thought that was obvious. So yeah, this is a really simple setup to improve this monstrosity. Okay, so now you may be catching a little bit on and realizing that redstone is actually evil. But there is actually something else that you can do with redstone. Yes, you're right, you can compare stuff. You can use a comparator to see if a command block has successfully executed or not. You can also use a comparator to check if there are items in a chest, or just to check the MBT tags of any older block. So, for example, if there is a music disc in a jukebox and stuff like that. Now, you may say, Nico, like, there is no other way to do this. You have to use redstone for this, right? Wrong. You actually don't need to use redstone at all, and here is why. So here we have a comparator with a command block. And this command block right here, the repeating one, is basically checking if a player is on an emerald block. As you can see, it will execute positioned right here, and it will check if there is a player in between the distance of one block. In fact, if we go here, as you can see, the comparator will light up. Actually, let me just change the position of this so you can see the comparator light up like this. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, as you can see now, the comparator is lit up, and this command that says hi will execute. Now, there are a few problems with this. The first problem is the delay. The comparator actually has a 2 ticks delay. So as you can see, I go on the block, there is a little bit of delay. There is no way of executing the command instantly. It's gonna take still a little bit of delay. But there is also another problem. The output of this redstone wire is actually really low. In fact, if we add more command blocks, as you can see, they will not execute because the wire is not going to be lit. The only way to actually make this work is to use repeaters, and repeaters will add even more delay to your Minecraft map, which is even worse. Plus, you can actually not deactivate this system once it's lit up. As you can see, if we deactivate the command block, the comparator is gonna glitch and then gonna stay lit up, which is a little bit bad, as you can see. This doesn't make any sense. I'm not standing on the block, but the comparator is still lit. So this is a little bit broken, and you should never use it in your maps, because it's gonna make really glitchy maps. Also, there is another reason you shouldn't use it, is because there is no multiplayer support. The comparator is only one, and it can either be lit or not be lit. So if there are 2 players, you cannot actually detect for one player in specific, because the comparator is only one, so it's gonna glitch out if there are multiple players. Okay, so what's the way to actually do this using command blocks? This is it. Look at all of this mess. Look at this. So much simpler. So basically we have the same command block right here, but instead of using comparators to compare if the command has successfully executed, we just use a chain command block back again, but we set the command block to conditional. Basically, setting the command block to conditional will make it have this little bit of a weird shape, and it will make it so this command block will only run if this one has executed correctly. So as you can see, if we go right here, this command block will run. Now, many of you will argue that this is not what I want. I actually want the command to run only once when I stand on the block, like this, and then not run anymore. Instead, right here is always running. So yeah, this is not exactly the same contraption, but there is an easy way to actually translate this into that. So basically right here, instead of having say hi, we can make this command block activate another command block that says hi. So like this, and we do data merge block right here, auto 1b, and we put this right here. Boom. So now when we actually stand on the block, as you can see, it will only happen once and not anymore. We can actually make another system to detect if the user is not on the block, and if so, reset this command block right here so that the contraption happens again. This contraption works for every single player, so it's not only single player, there is no delay, and it doesn't glitch out if you change any of the states of the command blocks. So it's 100% bug proof, while this one is completely broken. Alright, so now we learned that redstone repeaters and comparators are bad. What is left? You may say, Nico, please, come on, redstone blocks. Seriously, they don't do any harm. Please, don't delete them too. Yes, you're right, redstone blocks don't do any harm. You can actually use them in your maps. But there is an easier way to actually make this work without having to use any redstone blocks. And, you know, I really recommend using this way. Okay, so basically we have two command blocks and we want to wirelessly activate this one. So this means that we don't have to use any redstone wire, because probably this command block is like 2 miles away, so we cannot connect it with redstone wires. So how do we actually wirelessly activate this command block? Well, the first thing that may come to your mind is using redstone blocks. Because if we actually set this block right here to redstone block, as you can see, the command block will activate. And in fact, this is just what these two command blocks do. One sets it, oh whoops, this is the wrong one. One sets it to redstone block, the other sets it to air. Boom. It cannot be simpler, right? Wrong, it can be much simpler. The problem with this setup is that if there are a lot of command blocks nearby, instead of only triggering this one, it will trigger all of them, which is not what we want. Using command blocks instead, we can do the same exact effect, but nothing will change. As you can see, it will say hi, and this will reset it, and it will say hi again. And, you know, we don't need to use any redstone block. How do we do it, you should ask? Well, it's actually surprisingly simple. We use data merge block. If you guys don't know, data merge is actually a command block that takes the MBT tag of a block and changes it. As you can see, if we do data get block, in these coordinates right here, data get block, tab, we are gonna get all of the MBT tags of this block. So the MBT tags are basically everything that describe how the block is. And basically the MBT tags describe the position of the block, they describe the command that the block has, an example for the command block. They describe if the command block was successful, they describe what's the last time they executed, a lot of useful information. Basically, if the property auto is 0, it means that the command block is on needs redstone. If the property auto is 1, it means that the command block is always active. So with this knowledge in mind, we can actually make this command block always active by setting the property auto to 1B. And we can make this command block needs redstone by setting the auto property to 0B. As you can see, if I click this button, it's going to be 1B. If I click this one, it's gonna be needs redstone. So there you go, no need to use any redstone blocks, and it's also much simpler. Alright, so in this video I showed why redstone is bad, why repeaters are bad, why comparators are bad, and why redstone blocks are bad. But unfortunately, we are not done yet. We still have to debunk all of these little blocks like lever, buttons, and actual other blocks like chests and hoppers, droppers, all of this stuff that can actually hold some information, and this information can be acquired using a comparator. We're gonna start by something simple, the lever. Let's say we need a player to say hi every time we flick this lever. Unfortunately though, due to the way the map is set up, we cannot actually do this. We cannot do a setup like this. Because let's pretend that all of this is made of glass, so the user can actually see the command block, and the player should never be able to see the command block, because else the contraption is gonna look ugly. So what do you do to hide the command block? Well, it's pretty simple. You just actually dig underneath the lever and, you know, start making some redstone and try to, you know, hide it as best as you can so that the command block will run. Oh, whoops, I failed. I have to do something like this. Let's try now. Okay, now it works. And it's kinda hidden. I don't know. There is probably a better way to hit it. Probably we can use a slab. Does this work? Okay, that works, but come on, this is too stupid. So there is actually another way to power a command block without using redstone wire, but actually using only commands. So basically, blocks like levers have different states, okay? The lever can have two different states, powered false or powered true. It also has a state that describes which direction the lever is facing, and it also has a state that describes if the lever is on the floor or if the lever is on the ceiling. How do we access these different states? For our contraption, we have to execute if this entity is powered. Sorry, if this block is powered. So we do execute if block, and then we set the coordinates of the block by doing tab 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 while looking directly at it. And then we do the type of block, which is lever. And then by using these brackets right here, we can actually detect for a certain state. As you can see, we have the face state that is gonna tell us if it's on the ceiling, floor, or on the wall. There is the facing state that is gonna tell us in which cardinal direction the lever is facing. And there is also the powered state that is gonna tell us if the lever is powered, false, or true. So what we need to do is actually check if the lever is powered, so if it's powered true, and then if it is, we're gonna say hi. And now it's not gonna work, but if we do this, boom, it's going to work. And now we can do this exact same command block for this coordinate, so let's just change the coordinates to this. Boom, 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 boom. And now it doesn't work, but when I do this, it will actually work. So I can actually put this on this command block, as I did, and as you can see, when we actually flick this lever, sorry, you cannot see it, but when we flick this lever, it's going to work. And there is no hidden redstone anywhere, while right here, you have to do all of this struggle to hide the redstone. So yeah, with all of these tips in mind, I don't see any reason to use redstone ever. Now yeah, one thing I forgot to say actually is how to check if there is items in a chest. Maybe you are tempted to use comparators to check if there are items in a chest. And you may say, well, this is alright, right? So as you can see, I put items in a chest. And okay, does this work? Yes, now as you can see, the comparator is powered. The thing is, you actually don't need to use a comparator, even if it seems like the good thing to do. You can still use data get block from this coordinate, and as you can see all of the items that are in the inventory of the chest, and then you can actually use data get block to see if there are any items in a chest. Now it's a little bit more complicated, but there are some posts that I checked out that actually show you how to do this. And the beauty of this, instead of using comparators, is that you can actually detect for, you know, in what slot the item is, and also what type of item it is, and the MBT tag of the item. So it's much better than using comparators. And the same thing goes for any other block, such as composter. Oh, actually, can composter... Yeah, I actually don't know, because it is a new block. If you actually put some saplings in it, does this trigger a comparator? Oh yeah, it does. Okay, this is so cool to know. Anyway guys, this was everything for this video, and I actually want to challenge you guys to create a map without using any redstone. I know you can do it. I'm looking at you, person that is watching my video. You can do it, okay? If you ever try to make a map, try not to use any redstone, and then ping me on Discord. The Discord is going to be on the description, saying, Nico, I managed to make a map without using any redstone, and I'm gonna be proud of you. But yeah, seriously though, with these tips, I believe there is no more reason to use redstone ever in your maps. Like, if you follow this, you know, to the letter, you don't need to use any redstone. Now yes, you may be tempted to use a little bit of redstone when the contraption is really simple, like you can use a repeater just to, you know, create a simple tick, but at this moment in time, I never fall to that temptation. I always, you know, destroy redstone as soon as I see it. Anyway guys, I hope you really enjoyed this tutorial, and I hope you're enjoying the tutorials that I'm doing lately on this channel. If you are, leave a like and tell me more ideas to do more. This tutorial was actually, the idea for this tutorial was actually given me by the EpiWheels1, so thank you. And yeah, you can download my new map in the description, because Minecraft Maps still hasn't uploaded it, so you know. But yeah, other than that, I will see you guys in the next video. See ya!